He may have a sophomore slump because Daniels, Kingsbury. Now you're not a new duo this year. You're the team to beat. When you're a rookie quarterback, you got a new coach. That's like a new duo, right? It's something new in the league. People can't quite figure it out. But by the time they got to the playoffs and they saw Philly had that figured out.
Daniels, sacked!
Philly put that blueprint out there and they beat their 55-23. In the offseason, all them NFC East teams, they looking at that or this is what they like to do. We game planning for that. We putting a plan together January, February, March, April for that. Before that, they didn't pay no attention to y'all in the offseason. They paying attention to the good teams in the NFC East. And once you become a team to beat, teams go back to that Philly game, they see what Philly did and was successful against that and they put that on tape.
What's your thought? We briefly talked about it the other day, but now it's the full context. I'll let you go first.
Aqib Talib is an NFL athlete. You know what I mean? He was a good damn NFL athlete, professional football player. He knows more knowledge, has more knowledge of the game than I do, right? Let me preference what I'm about to say by first stating that. Shut the fuck up. You trying to get you trying to get views on for whatever your show is, right? Let me say this. Did Philly lay the blueprint? One, Philly played Washington 3 times. If there's anybody who knows a team, it's their division rival. And if you play a division rival 3 times, Washington knew Philly, Philly knew Washington. There was no secret on what Philly was going to do with Washington. There was no secret on what Washington was going to do against Philly. You want to know what the difference is? Philly had some absolute athletic freaks on defense that could fly around on the second layer, not only on the defensive line, but in the linebacker spot and in the secondary that could keep up with the speed of what Jayden Daniels did, right? If they had the blueprint, why did the Giants fulfill it? Giants had freaks all over the place on the offensive line. They couldn't stop them. Why? Because that second and third layer wasn't athletic as Philly. Green Bay. Okay, now we're talking about a little different story. They got athletic freaks freaking everywhere. So, yes, if you have athletic freaks everywhere on the defensive side, on every layer, on the defensive line, in the defensive secondary, and in your linebackers here, you might have a good chance of stopping Jayden Daniels because you have speed everywhere. The thing is, not every team has speed everywhere. Not every team can fly around on every layer of the ball and be able to stop it. So, yeah, you might have a blueprint, but does everyone have the pieces to fulfill that blueprint? Absolutely not. So we talk about the NFC has this thing and has this, man, shut the hell up. That's for something. That's just that kind of shit drives me crazy because, like, one, you're an NFL athlete. You know how this shit goes. It's in week 2, but now you're talking about a team is already figured out. When you talk about the team that really handled him, and I'm talking about Philly and Green Bay, and Dallas did a good job, but Dallas had a particular piece that's very familiar in Green Bay right now. Yes, you can stop certain players if you have the pieces to do it. But don't sit back and act like every NFC team. Let's not sit back and act like every AFC team has the tools to do and execute what Philly and Green Bay did against Washington. That's where I'm like, come on, man, I call bullshit on it.
Yeah, and I agree. I believe he's right in a sense and he's wrong in a sense too. I agree. You know, you need the personnel first to be able to execute it. But you know, there's certain things, you know, I think that if you have the personnel and the coaching to do that, any player, you know, you can slow him down. Any scheme you can slow down. One thing he was telling the truth about is the offseason, though, about how, because remember last year, few teams, they didn't know what to do with Jayden and the Cliff Kingsbury offense. They was scoring 35, 40 points a game. But like what he was saying, like over the offseason now, like, all right, you're the top 4 teams left. So we're going to, like, you know, look at these teams and try to stop them next year or get in position to beat them next year. We got a game this week coming against the Rams. Another team that slightly retooled to be able to beat the Eagles. Washington retooled to be able to beat the Eagles. You know, nobody kind of expected the Packers to come out like this year, even though they talking a lot of shit. I don't know if you've seen Nate Guard talking about he think they can go undefeated. We'll see. You know,
I didn't hear the clip, but I seen him say that.
Yeah, he said, you know, we'll be undefeated, which is total. Like, when you start talking like that, you about to get your ass kicked real soon and be humbled. Yep. You know, but you know, he's right in a sense and he's not. He's right in a sense and he's not. But you have to have the personnel and the coaching to be it, because you said Giants couldn't do it. A lot of other teams cannot, you know, do it. And with that being said, I think it's going to be a hell of a time trying to stop him again. It's not like it's like set in stone. You know, he may get us this time. You know, he may get us twice. Who knows? You know, you got to make the right play, and you also got to force him into a mistake or two, maybe a turnover. You know, to be able to beat Jayden Daniels and the Commanders, because they're still a good team despite what Green Bay did to them. they're still a good team. They're still going to be contenders, in my opinion.
Yeah, my only thing is like the thing that pisses me off about that take is it's a lazy take. He puts the take out as if it's a narrative like, okay, now this team isn't going to be a success. And we don't know what it's going to be. We might fuck around and be 9-8, or we could fuck around and be 12-5. You never know. It's too early to tell at this point. But you sitting there like, okay, now we have an answer. It's like, bro, he played 20 games. If they had an answer like that, why didn't the Lions beat him in the divisional round? If they had the blueprint like that, why did Tampa Bay beat him in the divisional round when they already played him? You got a Philly team who played him 3 times, who defensively just had the speed, had the tools to contend with that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it happened. You have a Green Bay, and I'm not making any excuses. I hope we see Green Bay again. I thought about this, and I'm very fortunate because we talked on Monday, and we were like, there were chances where we both thought, hey, as bad as Washington's playing, is dominant as Green Bay is right now, there was a particular time in the fourth quarter where it was 17-10. You're like, well, damn, they can possibly sneak and win this game. I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we lost that game because it kind of reminded me of the Philly game when we played you guys the second time in DC. How you guys were kind of dominant the whole game. We just stuck around, 5 turnovers, had no business winning that game. At the end, you let us stick around, and we ended up winning. But what did that do? It gave you guys extra motivation. It was like, oh, okay. Y'all talking shit? Okay. You better not let us see you again. And what happened? We saw you again, and we were hot. We were talking shit. And y'all had a little bit extra motivation going into that game, and it showed. I'm glad that we kind of let Green Bay do their thing. I'm glad they're on their high horse. We took that loss early. We have it in the back of our head because if we play them again, it would be in the playoffs. I think the game will be a lot different. That being said, so I'm happy that it went. I'm not happy that we got beat the way we did. I'm not happy at the injuries that came from that game because we lost a battle in the war. But I am happy that if it was going to happen like that, that it happened earlier in the season so we can lick our wounds, remember it, and use it as motivation later on. But I think a lot of these sports athletes, and I like sports athletes getting into commentary because they add a different level. But I feel like they try to mix like their professionalism with the shit that they see these other dudes doing and try to create these wild storylines to kind of garner attention. And that's just whack to me, man. Stop having lazy ass takes. You're better than that.
Right. And one thing I will say, one thing that's similar with the Eagles and Packers, you touched on a little bit, is the physicality that both the Eagles and Packers is playing with. Like players drop like flies from y'all game and players drop like flies from the last game that we had. Like that's one thing, in my opinion, community's got to step up is that physical brute, like players leaving the game, like killing motherfuckers. You know what I mean? I think that was very soft in that game. We already kind of, we did our review on it, but that was soft, like totally like just like you're gonna come out there and just win with your weapons. Nah, you gotta plan every week.